love to hang out with my community that I met here. So we kind of help coordinate things and ask some of the residents what things they like to do, and they like to get together in groups and hang out. So we have things like art class, getting together, painting rocks. We have silent disco, so we got headphones and walk around and do exercise together. We've got new moon yoga. Saturdays, we have the farmer's market. And then my house often is the gathering place a lot of times, especially on Friday nights, to get together and have a glass of wine. Hi, I'm Tisa. This is my tiny house, and we're in Austin, Texas at Village Farm. I've been living in my tiny home for about 1.5 years now. The builder is Utopian Villas, and the house is 33 by 11. The lot rent currently here at Village Farm is $750 a month. That does include amenities that we have, and it also includes our trash pickup. One thing I love about my tiny is my wraparound deck. It's a partially wraparound, and it's been great to have the size that it is. It's really been a way we can really gather and hang out. One thing that was important to me was to give more of a modern feel. So when Utopian Villas and I sat down and were designing it, we were looking to see the things that I thought would be important. So we made the windows a certain height so I would have privacy, but yet a lot of light. And on the outside, I wanted low maintenance. So instead of having wood features, they look like wood, but actually some of the things on the top is actually metal. So that way I don't have to stain it ever, and it makes it a lot easier to maintain. All right, I'm excited to show you the inside of my house. Come along. Welcome to my house. It is 399 square feet, and it's a custom build by Utopian Villas. My builder's absolutely phenomenal. I recommend anyone to be able to have Utopian Villas home. They'd be lucky to have their houses. The owner, Justin, is absolutely amazing. It was the best communication and building process I could ever ask for. Starting behind me is my living room. I can't wait to show you some of the features. Some of the things I did, I wanted to make sure that I had tall floor-to-ceiling light that could come in, and I built that in a doggy door. So one of the things I love for my dogs to be able to go through here, so I just lift that up, and then they have the space outside, which has been great for them and very convenient. When we built the space, I already had this couch, and we measured it in advance to make sure that it fitted. One thing on Tiny's I realized I need lots of hooks. So behind me here, you see hooks, and you'll see them throughout the house. I have lots of those. You never know in a tiny when you need a little extra space. One of my dogs right here is Scotty. He's the owner of the house, really. I just keep it up for him. The space here, I use it for work, watching TV. It is a gathering space. So I've got lots of seating area. The 2 bar stools here, and then I've got other seating that I can move around the house to make a better gathering and fit up to 8 people in the living room. One thing I love about this living room space is the lighting, and it feels very open. So we built the windows to where if I sit down on the couch, it feels very private, but yeah, I'm getting all the light. I've got windows behind me. The shades that come down, they're automatic. And then how I did the curtains. So there's 4 panels, and I can get as much light or privacy as I want. So I can completely wall it off, or if it's a beautiful day, have it wide open and make it an inside-outside type of atmosphere. So one thing on a tiny that's fun is that you can make little pops of things, and one of the things I want to do was have a chandelier. Could have opted for a fan, but I wanted to opt for a little bit of glam, so I went with a big chandelier. So welcome to my kitchen. One of the things I did, I wanted to have the kitchen a little bit more fun, and underneath here on the countertops, I did like a black alligator wallpaper. I thought that was gonna be very fun, and also it doesn't get scuffed up when people are sitting here. And then I did a quartz waterfall countertop all the way through. Makes a nice clean appearance. Over to the other side here, we did a whole custom underneath the stairwell. I did a custom bar, pull-out drawers, and then extra storage at the bottom. And then into the kitchen area, I did nice pull-outs with trash, dog food. After I moved in, I realized I had a small little bit of space here. And so I got with one of the ladies here who does custom work and had them add the 3 shelves on the side. I thought it added a homey feature when you walk in instead of just the side of a cabinet. In the middle area, I did a 5-burner gas stove, which I absolutely love. I decided to go with a convection oven as opposed to a traditional oven. I haven't had any issues with it at all. I've learned how to cook with it. It's been great. One thing I love about my kitchen is the large countertops I have. I got plenty of prep to cook. My sink is very large. You can see there's plenty of space for cooking many things on here. So the size of it feels like a traditional home as opposed to a tiny kitchen. I had to make a choice. I could have a pantry, a full size, or a full dishwasher. I needed a full dishwasher. I was not doing dishes. And then on my refrigerator, I went with a smaller refrigerator, fully all that I need. This has been a feature that was really important to me to have. So one thing I did was I did a pull-out coffee bar. So I had electrical put in. That was one of the tweaks I made. And then I had them install all these that were pull-out. I realized that it was dark in here. And I didn't have the builder put in the lighting. That was something, looking back, I probably should have. Instead, I've got little lights I got off Amazon. And they are throughout my house and in the dark spaces. I am 57 years old. I live in Austin, Texas. I'm a registered nurse for the past 35 years. I've got one daughter who is an adult that lives in Boston, Massachusetts. And about a year and a half ago, I decided to go tiny. Originally, I was living in Plano area, and I had seen an ad for some property about an hour away that I thought it could be a good vacation spot to go. When I went to the property, I bought it, but then you could only put tiny houses or RVs on it. So my original idea was I was going to buy an RV. But looking into the details of an RV, I realized that the car that I needed to drive it, the logistics of it wasn't what I was looking for. So then I totally did a pivot and really delved into tiny houses. The reason why I chose to make it my full-time home and not my vacation home as I originally planned, the whole idea was I had a lake property and I was going to put it facing the lake. But once me and the builder sat down and went through the process of designing it, my thought was, I'm really going to like this home. I had never thought that a tiny home could be livable for day to day. I thought of it more of a temporary small space that you just use for vacation. When we built it, I saw that how it was going to be designed. I'm like, I think I can do this. And after a while, you don't even realize you're living tiny anymore. It's so natural now. I originally had a 3,600 square foot house, and then I downsized to an apartment. I just didn't need the upkeep of a big house. The apartment I had was around 1,200 square feet, which I thought was small. Now looking back, it definitely wasn't small. But then I downsized to the tiny. The process, I did have to purge a lot of items. I was able to give a lot of my furniture that I no longer needed to my family. I did purge a lot of clothes that I was no longer have space for. Realized at the end of the process, what I kept were the things that meant something to me. Everything in my home has a memory or an attachment to it that means something. So across from the kitchen here is the bathroom. So you come on in, you can see some of the custom features that I made in here. I did a marble floor ceiling shower, and then I did 2 niches on both sides. One for pretty things that can look nice, and then on the interior, I have one that can store things you don't want often to be seen. I do have the gold showers. I like those touches that I did. I think it made it a little more special. Wanted floating shelves here, and I wanted more for decorative. Very well could have been used for storage or anything else, but I don't need the extra space, so I decided to make it more decorative. We do have a window here, and then I have installed extra hooks. Once again, more hooks the better. One thing I did realize is that I didn't have enough space for my jewelry, and so for my everyday handy jewelry, I came up with the idea of putting wallpaper on the back and then going ahead and doing my everyday stuff here. And then I also had the builder put in electrical plugins. So things like my hair dryer, curling iron already has it plugged in. And so everything pulls out. It's the best use of space that I could have there. I really wanted a girl bathroom. So my makeup mirror I have installed, and then underneath a full pull out makes it nice. But the amount of space that I have with all my stuff as a girl, I really wanted it handy and not just always things in the back to have to pull out all the time. This bathroom functioned exceptionally well for me. I did steal space from my bedroom to make this bigger. That was one of the things I really wanted in a custom home, was to make a bigger bathroom than what you normally see in a tiny home. It doesn't feel like a tiny bathroom. Definitely plenty of space. So next to the pantry is the washer dryer tower. The tower has all the programming right here. I'm short and I didn't want to have to reach up to have to turn things on. In traditional stackable, sometimes you have to reach up. They're the best washer and dryers I've ever had. They're very quiet as well, so in a tiny home, I can have the washing machine going, I can have the dishwasher going, and I can still work, and there's no noise that's actually bothering me at all. In the back of my house is my bedroom. One thing that people realize is my ceilings are 7 feet tall. Even though it's a tiny home, it doesn't feel tiny. It's very wide. I had them build a custom queen bed. I've got pull-outs underneath that I use for my dressers. I also had the mini split cover. It wasn't as attractive feature. The cover just takes it off a little bit where you don't see it so much. And then I've got storage on both sides. The bed I also had on the back. This lifts up and underneath it is storage. And I have electrical put in the back that I can put my dehumidifier and extra light in the back. That's been great. And then on the side here, this pulls all the way out. Here it goes out to about midway. And I use this for things that I don't need all the time, travel equipment, that kind of stuff. So it's a little extra area that can tuck away and be nice and neat. The area right here has also been great for Scotty. He has a little bed right here that has been great. There's plenty of space here and it feels like a little tucked away nook. So although I'm happy with my closet, looking back I could have done it slightly better, but I needed full hanging and also things that could store like suitcases and larger items there. In the middle are like pants, sunglasses, shoes. I did simple things like ballet hooks or things that pull out so it's easier to kind of get to. And then on the other side, I have double hanging for my items. As I'm not known as a minimalist, I have really just made great use of space. I still have around 60 pairs of shoes that are stored nice and neat within the closet here. So I've got everything all tucked away, but it's been very doable. I got plenty of room to get ready. That's one thing that's been good is I got plenty of space to get out of my closet and use the ballet hook and really be able to see what I need to get ready. But having plenty of room for that, I don't feel cramped at all. I did not have the builder do the custom on the inside. I waited for aftermarket. Probably going back, I would have had the builder do it. I just didn't know what I wanted. I did lose 2 or 3 inches up at the top. So the piece that I bought was not exact sizing. So I'd have loved to have had those extra 3 inches. That would have created a little bit more space for me. And then I would have rather have had it where I could have pulled some of this stuff out on it. So there's been a couple things I'd have tweaked if I was going to do it over again. One thing I have not mentioned is all the lighting that my builder did, it is all dimmable. So it's great as I can get really good atmosphere in here as well. And now we're going to check out the upstairs. This space right here is really my flex space. So I use it sometimes for my office. I use this couch right here for a secondary bed when I have company. I have an option where I could rearrange it, make it a little different if I wanted to. Right now, it works for me as this is a secondary office. So one thing I love about my upstairs is that you can fully sit and not hit your head. So a lot of tiny homes, you can't fully sit in a chair. I've had people 6'2" fully sit upright and never hit their head. The space is around 4 feet 7 inches around, so it's a little bit larger than a lot of tiny home upstairs. My dog has enjoyed it. He likes coming up here and being able to look outside, yet keep his eye on everybody out, that's downstairs. So next I'm going to show you what people call my hidden room, but it's not hidden. It's actually more of a surprise room because I realized when I did it, most people are surprised that it exists. So it is secondary guest room. So in here I have a full-size bed. This is where I put my jackets. And then I even have on the side a little bit of a dresser. We added a mini split back here as well. So I have 3 mini splits in my home because having the room separate out, we wouldn't get the airflow. So having that mini split makes the temperature very comfortable. So whenever we went through the designing process of it, I wanted to be able to have one space to look over, but then I also wanted to have a guest room that was private. So this is what we came up with, and it's so flexible where this could be my primary if I chose it to be. So I love it because the versatility of the use of both of these spaces can be used for multiple things depending upon what you're looking for. The cost of my home a year and a half ago was $225,000. However, I did major upgrades that I wanted from the beginning. So I paid for extra installation. I paid for a lot of custom things in my home. I have a custom bed. I've got marble in the bathroom. So I paid for some upgrades that people don't have to do. My builder is so great that he has a baseline model of this that you can get for a lot cheaper. That way people have the option whether they want to upgrade. They can buy it inexpensive, still with the great quality that he has, but maybe they don't want all the upgrades, which gives a good opportunity to figure out where you want to put your money. I got a bargain in a way. An apartment in Dallas where I was at was running around $2,300 a month for a 1-bedroom and an office. I do work from home, so I needed a little bit more space. And then when I got the tiny home, financing is a little bit challenging because you don't finance it with a mortgage. You finance it as like an RV loan. Sometimes the interest rates are a little higher, so picking the time when you're financing to make sure the interest rates are good. But I'm able to live for $1,000 less than I did when I lived in an apartment, but then I'm actually owning it. So it's definitely a trade-off with what you're looking for. If you're looking for a regular house, I could definitely see why people would say I want to put my money into something that a regular home might go up in value, but my apartment was only going to cost more, it was then going up in value. So when I compare it to my apartment cost, and that was just a choice. I just don't want the upkeep of a traditional home. I like the idea of living in community with people, and that I've really formed great relationships that I never would have gotten in a traditional neighborhood. I'm originally from Missouri, and I really realized I like the mix of both country and city. And so the position that we're at here at Village Farm, we are 15 minutes from downtown, but when you're here, you do feel like you're somewhat in the country. So I take care of the ducks. We've got geese and ducks, and we can volunteer and help take care of them. It really makes you feel like your pace is a lot slower. Even though our houses are close together, you feel like you got lots of open space by being at the farm. The people here have made all the difference in the world. For me, if I had this exact home, but I lived on a piece of land, an acre, but it was far away from everybody, that wouldn't be what I was looking for. For me, it's the community as well as the tiny home, the combination of both that made this so special.
Thanks for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian, and this is our DIY tiny house on our homestead in Oregon.
Looking for more tiny inspiration? Watch these videos. But if you're looking for something specific, visit our channel homepage to browse tiny homes by category.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Hope to see you soon.